Okay, we're all going to jump in and participate here. I got an email from someone who said, "How will I know when I am truly ready to return to class?" And that was it. So I wanted to address that. Why would somebody not be in class?
Not willing to learn from you.
Okay, not willing to learn. So they're off track. How do you know when you're off track?
You give us a lot of clues.
I give a lot of clues, but let's even just take me out of the picture. Take me out.
Your life starts to get messed up.
Life starts to get messed up. What do you have to know in order to know at all that you're off track? You have to know a basic.
Yeah. To know what being on track is.
Thank you. Yes, you have to know what on track is, and you have to know what the goal is. Bless you. So what's the goal here?
To love.
Okay, I love. Is that it? I love. Is that it? Is that what we're here for?
No.
I love. I love. Is that what it is? No. What's the goal?
We have to dismantle our systems, our family systems.
Not family. Every.
That's the process.
That's the process. Why? Where are we going?
To get to be our true selves.
To get to be our true selves. And what would our true selves look like? Is my hair then turned blonde or brown or green or pink? Do I have a perfectly toned body then?
No, see, it's an internal.
Is it then my mind is nice and clear and clean? I have a great job. I have beautiful house and a great car. Is that the goal?
No, it's complete surrender to God at all times.
That's still part of the process.
Actually merge our limited consciousness with God and become.
So the goal is to remove ignorance, which is what?
Taking what's real, not real to be real, what's impermanent to be permanent, what's not the self to be the self.
Okay, that's a phrase.
Everything that we identify with, or everything that is, like for me, everything that's Kara.
No. Close, but no. It's got to be because you don't know what's Kara.
That's true.
So it is the removal of all identification, right, with all thought form, all vibration, all vehicles, all material, no matter how subtle it is. So if we go to the Yoga Sutras, what's the goal?
The stilling of all vibrations.
All vibrations. Stilling of all vibrations, no matter how subtle. That's the goal. Anyone else? What else? Because then you can think that I've now dissociated, so I have no vibrations.
Numbing is still a vibration.
So, what do you have to? You have to go beyond the 3 gunas. That's one of the goals here, to go beyond the 3 gunas. And what are the 3 gunas?
You have tamas, which is ignorance and darkness. Rajas.
It's inert, inertia. Inertia, the numbing, the dissociating is tamas. Rajas is what?
Activity.
Activity, agitation, activity of all kinds. If you didn't have any kind of rajas, you wouldn't be doing anything. But the active agitation is a particular vibration, right, within the mind. So you have to go beyond that. And how do you get beyond the active agitation? Do you keep going back to tamas? You keep surrendering back to tamas? You keep going back and, oh, I can't do this? You have to be willing to go through the storm of that active agitation and quiet it. But how do you quiet it? How do you get to sattva?
You have to be willing to stay with the vibrations of whatever you're going through.
You have to be willing to stay with the vibration that you're going through. So I will always say to you, be with your experience, whatever it is. Let whatever comes up from that experience come up. And then function appropriately on the physical plane. Now, it sounds like it's just a little activity. Is it just the little activity? And what happens to the identifier, the ego, when you're willing to be with your experience, whatever it is? Let whatever comes up come up from that experience and function appropriately on the physical plane. What happens to the identifier? It's ground down. You no longer identify with that particular vibration. So if I'm unhappy, what do I tell you to do? Be with it. Oh no, you should be happy. It's okay, you need to be happy. No. No. If what you have is a vibration of unhappiness, then by all means, be with it. But you have to be with that vibration, not emote it. Because if you're emoting it, what are you doing?
Being carried.
You're no longer functioning appropriately on the physical plane. If you are identifying with that emotion, are you being with your experience, letting whatever comes up come up and functioning? No, you're lost in. So if you don't feel, which a lot of people don't do when they don't want to because they think it's either spiritual, they've rationalized it all. Because you believe though your feelings are too real, they're too powerful, they're too strong, they're too this, they're too whatever, too, then you are off track. If you are not willing to feel because your feelings are just too real for you, you are definitely off track. And if you're having those feelings and they're just too real for you, you're off track. And if you're emoting, you're off track. You have to know what on track is, which means you have to be able to feel and absolutely know through deep understanding, not through ideas. So if you think it, if you studied it, if you studied the Yoga Sutras or even Kashmir Shaivism or the Upanishads or the Bible or the Quran or any scripture, and you understand scholarly, you understand intellectually, you don't understand. You have used your abstract thinking, your intellect, to keep you off track. And if what you think that on track is that your life is going okay, you missed the point, you're off track. If you think that you're just being honest, you're off track. If you don't feel, and yet you're honest, you're off track. So I did want to read something first to give you a sense of on track, and then we're moving to off track further. And this we were going to actually use in the Shiva Sutras. This is Baba's commentary on Shiva Sutra 1.8. Knowledge is wakefulness. The normal waking state is not true wakefulness. According to enlightened saints, the state of waking, being coupled with ignorance, is darkness. The poet saints of India exhort, "O man, why are you asleep in the arms of ignorance? Wake up, awake." The Upanishads also cry, "Arise, awake, don't sleep." Forgetfulness of one's true nature is ignorance, and that is a night of terrible darkness. So if you don't know what the goal is, which is to know who you truly are, not as an idea, not as a thought form, not as a concept, not as an abstraction, not as a rote memorization. That none of those are all off track. Those are all asleep. Baba goes on, if a man's kundalini is asleep, he is wrapped in folds of night. He is not truly awake, not awake to the self. He may be very effective in his practical life, but even moving in his everyday world, he remains asleep. It is only when, by the Guru's grace, the great Shakti Kundalini awakens within him that man arises from his sleep. A sleeping man is not aware of the gorgeous kingdom of Chitti within his own heart, nor of the true nature of the external world. The awakening of Kundalini is the dawn of knowledge. As soon as one receives the Guru's grace, the sleep of ignorance runs away. The inner eye of knowledge is opened while sitting with his mind focused on his heart. One can know the inner and outer worlds with great clarity. He sees the blue God in Sahasra, sparkling with the effulgence of 1,000,000 suns. This is the light of inner knowledge, and it dispels the darkness of his ignorance and reveals the entire inner universe, fully illuminating the mind. And it goes on. The only one who is truly awake is the one who has evolved from the state of limitation to the state of freedom, who has moved away from ignorance to full knowledge, and who has exploded the false distinction between matter and consciousness. So what's the goal? To be who we truly are. Not who we think we are, no matter how spectacular we may think we are, or how wretchedly spectacular, or spectacularly wretched we think we are. If we think it, just a bunch of thoughts, just a bunch of letters limiting us, just a bunch of ideas. So, questions you have to ask about being off track is, where is that feeling? Where is that feeling? Where do you have your feelings?
In my mind, in my head.
If you have them in your mind, in your head,
It's a signal.
It's a signal you are off track. If you are depressed, if you're fragile, if you're hurting, if you're this, oh my God, it's just too much, too much, too much. Oh, I'm so this, I'm so that. I'm this, I'm that, I can't hear. Who's talking?
Your mind.
Limited self. Limited. You are off track. If you are talking and saying, I feel fine. There's nothing going on. I feel fine. I'm fine now. I'm fine. It's all okay. It's fine. You are off track. There's no problem. I don't understand the problem. You are off track. Where do we have to feel from? Our hearts. Where do you know you know? If it's in your head, you don't know. You have to actively know the difference between the head and the heart. And if you don't know the difference, and if you think that in your heart is just gushing, sincere, emoting, emotional, I mean it's really emphatic, and that's head. That's not real. That's not true. You missed it. Know the difference between feeling in the head, in quotes, feeling in the head, and feeling in the heart. So, what's the difference? Everybody go in their heads. It's easy. Go in your head and feel. Is it too much? It's too much. Too much. You're feeling so much. Who's depressed now? Who's upset now? Who's okay now. Is it real? Do you feel like you're in a soap opera? Okay. Now, get out of the head. Go into the heart. Now, what do you feel? What's your vibration? Anger. It's anger. It's okay. Is it okay to feel anger? If what?
If I'm feeling it from here.
And if that's your actual vibration, right? So, are you practicing? Yes. Is it too much for you? No. Now go in your head. Is it too much for you? It's too much. I'm sorry. It's too much. Get out of your head.
It's okay, but it's angry.
It's angry. So, what? Be with it. Do you have any letters that come up from it? You actually do. You have. Right? Yeah, it's. Okay. So, now I just demonstrated it. Do you want to demonstrate? It's not terrible in this room. It's okay. You function appropriately and you could do that. But I suggest if you're, I don't know, at the grocery store, at the checkout counter, I wouldn't do it. It would be, I'd just keep it to yourself. But you let yourself have it. You go, wow, roar, rah. Okay, internal. And then you go, credit card, yeah, whatever. Right? What's your vibration? Sad. Are you practicing? What was your answer? No. Why? You don't want to feel it. So are you in your head talking to me? Yes. And what does that make me? Angry.
I feel like I feel more now than I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me think that I'm practicing.
Right.
But
It makes you what? What did you
Thinking.
thinking?
Practicing.
Thinking.
Yes, yes.
Thinking. Are you practicing? No. I put my toe in and I think I'm an Olympic swimmer. You got to know the goal. You got to know the practice. You got to know where you're going, and you got to know what it actually is. Because you can fool yourself. So, feel it. Is it too much? No. Have you been running from this? Your answer was forever. So, are you now practicing? No. So, not feeling and appearing that everything is okay, is that practicing? No. Does it have to be sad, angry, fear? No. But if you don't feel what you have, are you ever going to get to love? You will never get to love. You will never get to bliss. But you can think you're feeling, and you can think you're so caught in your feelings and you're just in your head and you've got so many feelings and you've got to sort out your feelings. Is that practice? No. 100% no. It's not practice. What are you feeling?
Like a little okay and
Mm-hmm.
like a little low and anxious.
Are you anxious?
No.
No. You okay?
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a shock?
Yeah.
Do you want to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
It's not me.
It's not you. That's right. You're not identified with okay. You're identified with others. The whole point is not to be identified. None of them. Are any of them you?
No.
Is this you?
No.
Yeah, your answer was no way. Is your sad, hurt, anger, frustration, misery you? No. But you want to say, yes, it is. And if it is, yes, it is, then you are off track.
I would say sad, but I think
Are you sad? No, you're not sad. She's sad. You're not sad. She's angry. She's okay. What are you? You're okay. Oh my God, the two of you? Okay, do not go to work on Monday like this. It's not allowed. Does your experience of okayness mean you're practicing better than them? No. 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 That would be like saying that that cloud is too much for me. It's just way too much for me. I can't handle it. That's a good cloud. Oh, I like that cloud. I can't stand that cloud. No, they're just going like this. So is okay a vibration?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anger a vibration?
Yes.
Sad a vibration?
Yes.
Are they all set up as different combinations of the three gunas?
Yes.
Yes. So do I have much sympathy for the I can't, oh my, no, sorry. And if you're doing that, you are off track. You're stuck. Stuck and off track. You got to know difference and where do you feel. And if you're caught up in emoting, and emoting is also a level of sharing to do what? To resonate, to get sympathy, to get soothing. If you're just being with your experience, no big deal. Just being with your experience, whatever it is, no big deal. Letting whatever comes up, come up. No big deal. And functioning appropriately. Do you got to broadcast it? Do you have to broadcast it? No. Do you have to say, oh, I'm in, oh my. I have it worse than you do. You have it worse than me. You don't know what worse is. We don't have to do competition. We don't have to do anything.
You don't have to look like a pointless rebel.
You don't have to look like a pointless rebel. Yeah. And you don't have to look like a basket case. Right, Sarah? Why would you want to be a basket case? You got your bennies. For whom? So then, are you practicing? Nope. Nope.
That's where the grinding happens, right?
Yes. That's what, as Ian hated, I did this to them. Grind down that ego. Grind down that ego. Because I don't care what your experience is, what's your vibration. I'm really not attached to, well, you got to have this one or you got to have that one. I really don't care. Anyone in here, you know I can handle anger. Sad? Fear? Anxiety? Happiness? Joy? Fun? Yeah, I can do it. And I don't care what it is, if what?
If we're being with our honest, we have a second.
Yeah, moment to moment. Moment to moment. It's just being with it. Letting whatever comes up, come up. So like when I'm doing a fricotomy with somebody, and somebody did it the other day, I asked them a next time question, and it wasn't the honest answer. And they said, oh, I was back in the last one. No, it's got to be moment to moment. Where am I now? Where am I now? Where am I now? Where am I now? If you're grabbing hold, you've lost it.
Can I just essentially make an observation? The whole question of where am I now is really key to, I think, also noticing when you're off track, because there's a paralysis that comes when you're in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is too hard, and it reminds me of when we used to talk about posture and locked knees. Because in order to move, you had to start by bending your knees, so you were always one step behind being able to respond to anything. And it's sort of the same way, that in order to actually function appropriately, you are so far away that you really can't handle life.
Mm-hmm.
And that paralysis is part of what drives the ability to say, I can't handle this. And what you can't handle from your head is just a normal Tuesday from your heart. You know, it's amazing how much you handicap your own ability to live by alienating yourself from yourself.
Yep. Yeah. And being more committed to that limited, so limited self. The practice is too much. I can't handle it. It's too strong in here. It's too this. It's too that. There's too much. It's too hard. It's too... For whom? The one that won't be here. And if you listen to that one who says, don't go back, don't practice, you don't want to, it's too much, who are you listening to? Mini-me. So, if you've done something externally that shows you that you are off track, you have to not do just behavior modification. Correct? You have to know in your heart of hearts what you did. So if somebody says, oh, you shouldn't have move this book, and you say, okay, I won't move this book, but you don't understand why it was an error to move that book, then you're not learning, you're not changing, you're going to continue to do something else that will have and be from that same motivation. There has to be remorse and repentance in order to turn around. You have to know what you did and go, oh my God. All those guys, women and men in hell, in Dante's hell, what was every single one of them innocent?
Mm-hmm.
Did they know what they had done? Did they admit that they had done anything? Did they know why they were there? No. How do we get to purgatory?
You have to admit and accept I did something wrong or bad or whatever.
You have to see it, though. You could do it intellectually, say, oh, I did something wrong, I don't know what it is. So then you're not going anywhere. You have to feel it and know it. So if somebody tells you that you did something wrong, but you don't believe them,
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. And if you just blatantly accept what they say to you, even if it's true, it doesn't count. You have to know in your heart of hearts what you did or didn't do. If I don't feel, then I can't have any of that. I can't turn around. If I just emote some tears and impulsive upsurges, then I'm nowhere. And that emoting is going to fool me and hopefully fool you. It fools us into what? Thinking we're somewhere we're not. I have to be willing to go back to basics. I have to know the basics, which means I have to actually be willing to be with my experience, whatever it is from moment to moment. Let whatever arises from that experience arise, no matter how horrific it may be, from moment to moment. And function appropriately on the physical plane, which means neither splattering or stuffing. Oh my God, I can't believe I had that thought. But I did. I put those letters came together from that vibration. Wow. Oof. Okay. Got to work on that. I got to be with that. Oh, it hurts. Oh, but that's the only way forward. And if I am thinking about my understanding and my knowledge of spiritual practice, I am not practicing. Back to basics. I have to be steady in obligatory actions. And I have to keep questioning inside as I'm being with my experience. Where am I? If I am unwilling to be with my experience, or if I am defensive, then I will never move. I keep saying this is a treasure hunt. What are we doing? We're looking to still vibrations. Oh, I'm willing to just be with the ones that I like. No, Our responsibility is to still all vibrations. So that means whatever vibration is there next, that's the vibration that is what is my work right now. That's it. No big deal. And if I have to be with it for years, then I'm with it for years. If I am using emoting as a shield against learning, I am nowhere. How do people do that? It's a great deflector. Oh, I'm too upset. I'm too this. I'm too that. I can't handle it. I'm fragile. I hurt. I'm this. I'm angry. I'm this. I'm sad. I can't handle it. Can you handle it? Yeah, you can handle it. Can you handle it? Yeah. Go in your head. Can you handle it? No, don't let me. I want to go and walk to Hunt Valley.
Well, I feel so much better feeling it.
It's like you build this pressure cooker of a vibration that I can't feel. It's not a good thing to feel. I shouldn't feel. It's not good to feel. I need to pretend I'm okay. I need to pretend I'm okay? Really? So I was at the grocery store. How you doing? Been under a lot of stress lately. Oh, been having, okay. I don't have a problem saying this is the reality. When I had cancer, poor Dr. Fetting, I'd go to him. I'd really like to keep this body alive. I really want to stay in this body for, how are we doing? Gotta be honest. You gotta be with your vibration, whatever it is. It's okay. And if somebody out there can't handle it, that's okay. But it's not about emoting. It's not about emoting all over the place. And it's not about stuffing it all over the place. Stuffing reminds me of toothpaste. It all just comes out anyways. As I said, out the navel. Just squeeze it out the... Just think of pate. Now, who wants to stuff it? There we go. That worked. Yeah. Have to look at, if you're off track, when you believe you are completely committed to your system, but believe you are not. Gotta watch that. Especially if you dissociate, you're numb. I'm not attached to my system. You don't know your system. You're saying that is your system. And I want to make this very clear. that the guru never breaks down a person. The guru breaks down a person's illusions. The Shakti is all-knowing, and it is the guru. If you don't want to learn, the Shakti will make the lesson louder and louder until you do. So you're going to have to start blaming the Shakti. You're going to have to start blaming God. You're going to have to blame the guru. Or, rather than all caught up in blame and be completely off track, you go, all right, fine, we'll do it your way. And I'll learn. It goes to Baba's, it's easier to ride the horse in the direction it's going. If you're off track, you're riding the horse backwards. And you can intellectually understand the emotional meaning and lessons without emotionally understanding the emotional meanings and lessons. I'm going to say that again. You can intellectually understand the emotional meaning and lessons without emotionally understanding the emotional meaning and lessons. What does that mean?
You're not free of it.
Excuse me?
You're not free of it.
You're not free of it, but you abstractly see, right?
Does that mean like if I look at some situation, I understand what I'm supposed to feel, but I don't actually feel anything. I can do it and not experience it?
No. You want to?
You can. It's having done that. I mean,
it's part of feeling in your head.
It's understanding the emotional significance, emotional meaning, emotional lessons, as if you were reading a book, abstracting it. Sort of.
It's an abstraction.
Not feeling it inwardly and knowing its dimensions,
knowing
what's going on there.
Okay, so here's an example. How many people have read Crime and Punishment? Dostoevsky. Oh, forget that one. Wow, guys.
I was going to say, it's like analyzing your head from your head.
Not quite, because it's not, it's your thinking, you're thinking your emotions. You are thinking how deeply you feel. That's what it is. You are thinking how deeply hurt and understanding how much you feel.
And even understanding, okay, this is what I need to be learning from this is not, because it's still an idea as if it's happening almost to someone else.
It has a level of dissociating.
Yeah.
It has a level of step back from.
It looks like being detached.
But it also looks so good. It looks good. You can fool yourself and others into thinking how deep you are.
Do we think we're reflecting when in fact we're just
Yes.
spinning?
Yes, you're just thinking.
Is it the same as, being able to recite the instruction manual, but without having any.
Yes, that's
a lot
pretty
like
good, because you can understand the, I understand completely. Let me read it. Now, I've never done it. It's the difference between being an intellect and an actual practitioner. I can, yeah, go.
In other ways, if you can't articulate something, you don't really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that if you can articulate something, you understand it.
Right. That's really a good way of doing it. Yes. So how many people in here heard me? And I got to tell you, I had written a book back in around 1990, a book Ian will remember, called Reality and Adventure Game. And it was a story with stories, and it had a workbook and things. And never was published. It's just the years with Baba and then after. And what did I talk about? Being with your experience. I mean, it was like I saw this and it was like, oh my God, everybody must be bored to death. I say the same things. Since 1990, I've been saying the same things. But how many times have you heard be with your experience, and each time you think you know what that means and you don't? It, as long as, and how many times if you take a fricotomy, take a word like impulsive, and you think you know the meaning, but you think you know the meaning. You think you know the meaning, so you understand impulsive. But as you keep working on a fricotomy, your understanding of that word changes. And it dramatically changes, not from an intellectual level, but deeper. It goes same to thinking about, in terms of really being clear about the power in speech. So if you only speak from your tongue, la 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 la, and you can be saying all the same things, but you have, and that's what Max is saying about you understand, you speak, you can read the manual, but you don't understand it. So they say that a mantra spoken verbally, outwardly, audibly, 1,000 times is worth one in the head. And 1,000 in the head is worth one in the heart. If you understand that, and I can say Kundalini, and I have a very different understanding and experience than some of you, and than I had when I was 20 years old, or when I first read, or if I say be with your experience, I mean it. I absolutely mean it. I don't think it. What did Baba say in here? I've said it 1,000 times, and people say, oh. Well, the inner eye of knowledge opened while sitting with the mind focused on his heart. One can know the inner and outer worlds with clarity. So what are you supposed to do? Focus on the heart. What does that mean? How many people, when they first heard that, when I said it, you read it from Baba, you read it in the Upanishads, it isn't like it's my idea. How many people thought heart was in the head? How many people thought it was an idea? And it was a good idea. It's a great idea. How many people got all gushy emotional with it? Ooh, heart. Goo, 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 heart. It's not the heart. not the heart. But you think you know. And you're feeling, so you know. And if you go back to St. Simeon, first level, what does he talk about? You raise up to your hands up to the sky and you cry and tears go down and you hope you always stay there. And that's the problem. Because you think this is it. So how many people thought this was it? And then, oh, it's not. This is it. This is it. No. And if you are thinking this is it, you are off track. If it's just an intellectual activity, you are off track. You can understand all the scriptures or have read the scriptures and not understood them, but think you know them, and you are off track. So you can spout all kinds of great words, great abstract understanding, and is it going to please me? No, wouldn't please Baba. What would Baba be happy with? Being with your experience. Being with your experience. Now, it doesn't sound very spiritual, does it? But what are you doing if you are being with your experience? You're focused on the heart. Ooh. Don't tell. We don't want anyone to know. You're getting to the truth. So if you're willing to be then with your experience, whatever it is, where are you? You're on track. Toward what? Toward what? Yeah, knowing who you truly are.
What's real?
What's real? What is actually real? So I rather have you sad than walking around fine. You? But if you believe, think, and if you've decided from all the work you think you've done what real spiritual work is, what it really looks like, then you are off track.
So, an on-track way of reading scripture is to be with your experience, whatever it is, and just keep going back to the scripture time and time again, but each time you just, even if you don't get it, the on-track way is to just be with whatever comes up.
That's why in so many places, in so many in monasteries, in ashrams, and you take one phrase. You read until something strikes, and then you sit with that. You be with that. You work with that. You understand that. You don't, okay, I want 3 chapters read by next week and understood. No. No, you have to dig. It has to be real. Otherwise, it's empty. It's totally empty. Though it's the right words. You can even articulate, as Dave was saying, you can articulate the right words. How many times you used to articulate the right words and I'd say, I don't want the right words. I want the real words.
It is like I've watched two different people saying the right words, and even though they were saying the same thing, your reaction to them was completely different because one person really did experientially understand what those words meant, and the other person that said the same words, it was an intellectual idea, and that you weren't happy with that, and that was when you, well, what did you mean by that? And yeah.
Or you would say, do you believe that?
Do you believe? Yeah. Do you believe that? No. Yeah. I rather you actually say that if that's your honest where you are in vibrationally, and you're not hurting anybody, but you say where I am right now, because I've never been anywhere else but there. This is real. That's not. Inside isn't. Whatever. This is a world. Yeah. I'd rather have that. If that's your, then you can move from there. But if you decide, and this is the story I keep saying, I want to get to Boston. I believe I'm in Philadelphia, but I'm really in Baltimore. I can't get to Boston because I am believing I'm going from someplace I'm not. And is there anything wrong with feeling terrible? No, there's nothing wrong with feeling terrible. And if you allow yourself to feel terrible, if that's where you are, what then happens?
It goes away.
It goes away. But if you deny it,
Ramps up.
it totally ramps up. It's coming out of your ears, out of your nose, definitely out of your navel. I'm just going to say pate. Ugh. So, what do you say to the person who writes, how will I know that I am truly ready to return to class? What do you say to him?
They should practice by practicing willing to feel.
Willing to feel? What do you say?
Willing to feel. Well, if you're asking that question, you're probably not ready to come back. But so for me, what's coming up is the level of surrender that's not there. That you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Look honestly and feel honestly why you're not there.
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Yep.
You won't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because the person asking the question from where they are is never going to get to.
Right, but they're at this point, that person is not at that level either, so they're not going to get it.
Helpful.
It is true, but if I said that to a first grader, are they going to understand me? Mm-mm. So they have to first understand that they're in preschool. They have to understand they're in preschool. Okay?
And it was what you were saying earlier about Dante's hell and accepting, feeling what it is that you did. For me, when you first read the email and said, well, how would you respond? What came up for me was, I cannot right now because I'm angry. And whatever I would, I needed to be with that first.
Yeah.
But accepting what you did.
What you did.
And why you chose not to.
You got to know that you did something. Do you think that the person knows that they did something? Do you? No. Yeah.
I was going to say, similar to what Kara said and what David said too, is, what is your experience at this moment? But then also, exactly what David said, going through, why you're not in class, going through each of those moments and feeling that. And just my experience, just the anger afterwards, it took me a while. Like, that was not, it took me a while to just sit with that.
Yeah, so you got to understand you have to understand what you did. You don't get to purgatory until, you can't just, so all those people in hell, could they just say, sorry, I did it.
Yeah, they wanted to, but it wouldn't mean that they'd move anywhere.
That's right. You can't, it goes back to you can't just confess. Maybe you can at the confessional because the priest isn't really listening, but you can't really, he's reading the newspaper. It's good to see you. He's listening to his eyes. Yeah, just say. Okay, fine. Hold on. Yeah. You can't just say, I did it. Or I'm sorry. Or you gotta know what you did. And this goes to that wonderful scene that I posted from the movie Shawshank Redemption, where Morgan Freeman's character goes through the parole board, and each time he said, oh yes, I've been rehabilitated, yes, and they deny him until finally he's honest and clear and sincere, and he doesn't care about them, he doesn't care about any, he just knows in his heart. And that's what it's about.
In my own experience, when I've done something really awful, it doesn't always go. It's when am I willing to actually feel it? It doesn't always immediately go to I'm sorry. There's like a time too that it's like I have to actually experience what I did before I'm even ready to say I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this goes back to something that's come up for me a couple of times in class, which is it's not magical.
Yeah.
That being with your experience with a vibration doesn't make it go away. And you remind us of that, but that needs to be. You don't make it go away, as you've said. You're with it until it goes away.
That's
or
right.
It comes and goes or whatever. It doesn't matter because it's moment to moment. It's not magic.
Right. It's not magic. So the terror in Hawaii, that lasted for 2 solid months. It wasn't like, other than that moment with the outside of Baba's house with the dog, there was terror 100% of the time. No matter what I was doing, where I was, there was terror. And I finally had to, okay, I'm just being with it.
too. Unfortunately or fortunately, you know, I mean, I've never left, but, you know, when I began to start really working, I had to get to a place which, you know, was really hard. I'd rather have nothing than this. And what I'm doing isn't working. And I've been shown enough of something else to know that there is another option. And it's time for me to it was that surrender of
you have to commit to that
and
other
say,
option.
I'm
Yeah.
follow directions even if.
Right. I'm just going to be with this ugly, horrible experience that I have known for years that I should just avoid. Yeah.
I have a question about being off track.
Okay.
Because I have a great capacity to be off track, in a big way. When we have someone leave a group, as happened last week, I feel for me, and I just am asking the question, is this accurate or for us to look at? I feel like I'm at risk for filling that role, that off-track role that was vacated.
You don't have to create that
like being vigilant to.
There doesn't have to be. Okay, there doesn't have to be. Some, you know, we need the. I'm not going to say the dummy in the class. We don't need that. We don't need the off-track person that's got to leave. You don't need that. And if you notice, we've worked really hard over the last few years to get rid of that vibration, and it's really worked. And look what's happened. And that particular person clearly wants to come back, but they don't understand because they've never understood. And I think it's great you're terrified that you're going to be the next one. We should all be. Maybe I'm the next one. Why not? I'll do it.
This was an important lesson I had to work on a lot growing up, which was that there didn't need to be, as you say, sort of the designated idiot. That it was the constant in terms of maintaining the same balance of vibrations.
Right. We can all love. I always would say that's the way it works. The truth is, we can all love. We can all be happy. We can all be powerful. We can all have agency. What I teach here is that not 99% of you can have agency and one of you can't. No. Each of us. That makes us, each of us, responsible. It's our choice. And it is a choice. And it is always a choice. And it is not about going off and then, there's got to be someone. No.
That's on the grid.
That's on the grid. That's right. That's on the grid. Yeah.
And the other thing in relation to Julie's is great to be, afraid of all ways you can go off track. But also, speaking as a kind of sibling, also be careful of, where's your ego investment in being the failure, the one who doesn't make the grade,
right?
The one, and are you head tripping yourself,
right?
In that way.
Yep. Because how many people have been here where we've heard again and again, I'm tired of being the stupidest one here. I'm tired of being the only one that doesn't get it. I'm tired. And you go, oh, I thought I was the one that didn't get it. I thought I was the stupidest one. Wow, I didn't realize you were. So that commitment to having that role. So, Julie, do you want to be off track?
No.
No. So? Okay. It really is that simple. So, in order to not be off track, what do you have to do? What did Baba have me do? I was with an amazing, realized being every day. What did he have me do? Be with my experience, whatever it was. He didn't care. Let whatever came up from inside come up. All those letters, but it has to come from in there, not from there. And function appropriately on the physical plane. This is not my idea. And it's moment to moment. And if I wasn't there, did he want me in his presence? No. If I was angry, sulky, this, that, whatever, did he care? No. Didn't care. But if I was denying, running from, he'd just do this. And he'd go in his house. He wouldn't talk to me. So he was showing me I was off track. Got it? Okay, thank you.